Oh, here we go. Let's see. I got Coval here. Long email, no apologies. You sign up for this. Dance for your Patreon dollars. I will. Trust me.
Have and will.
Yeah. I've been playing a lot of MTGO Vintage Cube this year and noticed the current iterations haven't featured combat tricks. The complete list of instant speed combat tricks in the Magic Online Cube right now are the Wandering Emperor, a Patrick specialty. Do you know what it does yet, by the way? Tell me the 3 modes on the Wandering Emperor.
I believe there is +1.
Let's start over. How much does it cost?
White 2.
How much loyalty does it start with?
3.
Okay, correct. Now keep going.
All right, so I think you can plus to put a +1/+1 counter on a creature.
Okay.
You can -1 to make it 2/2 vigilance.
Already wrong.
First strike? With the counter?
Say it again.
Do you get first strike when you put a counter on something?
First strike is involved. How do you think first strike is involved?
I just answered that. I told you how I think it's involved.
Okay, so +1/+1 counter and
First strike until end turn.
okay, correct. I didn't know if you thought it was a first strike counter.
No.
Okay.
-1 make it 2/2 vigilance, samurai or whatever.
Okay.
-2 exile target tapped creature gain 3 life period.
Gain how much?
2? 3? I thought it was 2.
What number do you think it is? Do you think it's 2 or 3?
I think it's 3.
It's 2. This is great. This is great. Just you've been playing so much Pioneer.
I'm on a need to know
You
basis.
still don't know what it does.
Don't have to worry about it if you don't lose to it.
What an RCQ and Pioneer.
Played against the card in the elimination round.
Didn't know what it did then.
Still don't know.
Really good.
Yeah.
Really good. Okay. Anyway,
Well, now I have pithy needles in my sideboard, so I never need to know ever
it
again.
Never does anything.
Yeah, never does anything.
So the MTG Cube right now, here are the SSP combat tricks. The Wandering Emperor, dismember if you got a big ass, or else it's just removal, and Bristly Bill plus crop rotation. Everything else is onboard effects that can be planned for, or sorcery speed ways to finish off a blocker after combat. The decision to leave out power toughness altering instants from the available pool of all Magic cards must be intentional. In my mid-range and control drafts, it's nice to know what's going on when I decide what my blocks will be. In my aggressive drafts, I found it frustrating how few things my opponent has to think about when lining up their blocks. What is Patrick's game design take on setting and subverting expectations in a limited environment? Would the Magic Online Cube be enriched by replacing the worst red or green card with Brute Force or Briarhorn? What if it's mutagenic growth instead? Does making people know about and think about exactly one thing out of 540 cards meaningfully change the experience? And does it change it for the better? From the design perspective, how is having one pump spell different than having 10 across multiple colors? Is putting one pump spell in the Vintage Cube the same as putting an empty tree on top of a Hyrulean mountain? And is that awesome or shitty? Thanks, Brian Coval. By the way, go check out his YouTube page. Or don't, but you should because it's pretty great. All right. This is all you here.
To the pump spell question, I think that's a thing that you can kind of toggle up and down a little bit, just depending on how creature-centric or prowess-centric, whatever your lines are for having more or less pump spells. I do think that having a lot of pump spells in a 540 Vintage Cube is a little rough, because even the people who want pump spells only want a certain number of them, and the people who don't want pump spells really don't want them at all. So it's not really slot efficient to have 10 of them compared to a handful. I guess I would prefer for the pump spells to speak to Vintage, or at least high power settings. To me, the ones that come to mind immediately are Mutagenic Growth and Become Immense. Okay. I think those are powerful cards. They're interesting to think about. They combo in weird ways. They produce dramatic moments. Those to me are great pump spells to have legal in Vintage Cube. The Briar Thorns and Brute Forces of the world, I think you're starting to strain a little bit.
I'm a little surprised there's not at least a little more pump action going on.
Yeah, that's weird. And I assume that whenever they go heavier on the pump spells, they just get internet feedback that's like, it's a Vintage Cube, why is Giant Growth here? Yeah. It's like, because it's a fun card to play with and it's powerful sometimes. And like the last card in a pack being for you 10% of the time and not for you 90% of the time is actually more efficient than the other way, because all the packs are loaded with so many powerful cards that you never get to the end of the draft and have no playables. So the end of the draft, just having stuff to think about, or maybe I play once in a great while, but not all the time, is more fun and more replayable than just, put another questing beast fucking thing in there or whatever.
Sure.